Hey everybody, Grandmaster Ben Feingold here. I haven't recorded in a while, but I have a lot of good excuses. Well, those aren't my excuses. Oh. I left my excuses in my other excuse box, so that's my excuse. Actually, I made a lot of videos in, let's see, when was it? In June? What month is this? Yeah, in June I made a lot of videos for the Chess Club and Scholastic Center of St. Louis. In fact, a lot of you were complaining that these videos are no good and the ones in St. Louis are better because they're more professional and there's an audience and Arjun's there and Ken West is there. So I made about 12 videos, I think, in June, and they maybe put up about 6, and they still have some in the pocket. I think it's because the U.S. Junior and Junior Girls are going on, so they're showing those videos instead of other stuff. So I think when the Junior ends, between Junior ends tomorrow, so probably between Tuesday and the next Tuesday of this week coming up, there'll be more videos of mine posted on the St. Louis channel. Also, I was in Michigan last week for a whole week. I drove there and back, which was 700 miles each way. So I didn't make any videos. I was visiting family. Anyway, one of the reasons I'm making the video, other than you like when I make videos, there's actually 2 reasons. One is we got our membership page working on the our website, atlchessclub.com. So if you go to the new page, which has membership information, you can now join the club, which several people have today. I put a big thing on Facebook and Twitter. So go to atlchessclub.com, go to the membership page, and you can join family, children, seniors, adults, and be a member of our club. On Saturday, September 9th, which is our grand opening, we're having free food and drinks. Well, it's sort of free. And then we're having a Blitz tournament. The entry fee is $20. It goes from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, the Blitz. Probably get about 40 or 50 people. And the open house grand opening goes from noon to 6. So come on down. It's in Roswell, Georgia, not far from you. Even if you live in Europe, come anyway. Do as I say. Okay, so I've only gone 2.5 minutes and I haven't shown any chess moves yet. The other reason I'm making a video is because, as you all know, Gary Kasparov is playing in the Rapid and Blitz in St. Louis after the Sinkfield Cup. I'm not as gung-ho about his chances as I think most of you are. I think most people that I spoke to on the internet, and those are some smart people, they think he'll come in the top 3. But he's 54 years old, so yeah, that's how he's going to do. So it'll be very good to get 50%. If he gets 50%, I'll be mildly surprised, but I expect maybe like -2. If there's 10 players, maybe 7th. If there's 12 players, maybe 8th. But, I mean, he's 54, and he hasn't played a slow game that was rated against the GM since before you were born. So give the guy a break. Probably he'll do okay in the Blitz, because the Blitz games end pretty quickly, and they don't need a lot of stamina. But it's going to be hard for him, I think, in the Rapid, because he doesn't have Rapid experience against 2,800 players the last 10 years. Anyway, if he does well, that'll be good, but it's interesting anyway. Now, I mentioned that because I want to show a Kasparov game that some of you know, but most of you don't. It's a famous game that he played against Dr. John Nunn, and it was at a Benoni. This game was played a long time ago, I think about 1980, and Kasparov wasn't world champion yet. But this game basically stopped people from playing the Benoni this way. And it's funny, I think it was Fighting Chess, one of Kasparov's old books from 30 years ago. He talked about Knight C3 exclam. The reason is, if your opponent's going to play the Benoni and you play Knight F3, which is a normal move, then you can't play the F4 lines, which Kasparov considered very good for white. I think he's right. And a lot of grandmasters who want to face the Benoni, they don't play Knight C3 because they're worried about the Nimzo Indian with Bishop B4 here. And as Kasparov wrote in his book, as I remember it, it's a long time ago, he said, Knight C3 exclam, John Nunn doesn't play the Nimzo Indian. He only plays the Benoni, so Knight C3 is a better move. A lot of Benoni players, and there aren't a lot of them at the top level. The main one was Gashimov, and he died a few years ago. So if you ask me to name somebody over 2,700 FIDE who plays the Benoni every game, the answer is nobody. Topolov played it occasionally, and Caruana's been playing it occasionally, but nobody plays it every game. Okay, Nunn played the Benoni, and Kasparov felt that playing an early F4 was the refutation. Oof, after this game, it's hard to argue. Okay, and the idea is to play Bishop B5 check, And if black doesn't play knight f to d7, then white's going to play e5. Those are very, well, and those are very tricky lines. But okay, if you play knight f to d7, then you're not going to play e5. So most grandmasters play knight f d7. A lot of Benoni aficionados will play knight b to d7, allowing e5 and sacrifice a piece. Not to every grandmaster's taste, but okay. Now you play a4, stopping your opponent from playing a6 and b5. And you just play normal chess, but Kasparov likes white because white has this big center, and black is pretty passive. So Nunn gets the b4 square for his knight, which is one of the drawbacks of playing a4. You can't, whoa, or you can play knight a2 by accident. You can't play a3 and kick out the knight. So knight a6 to b4 is a normal idea. Castles, not knight a2. a6, bishop takes d7. Now this is interesting to me because without knowing anything, I would just retreat my bishop. But bishop takes d7 gains a tempo, and white's bishop is pretty clumsy, actually. I like this move. It gains a tempo because black has to recapture, and Kasparov played f5. So he's just saying your knight on b4 is off sides. I have the center. I have more space. I'm just going to come get you because your king's on e8. It's hard to argue. G takes f5 really destroys black's king side, so he castled. Bishop g5. And, I mean, if I'm black, I'm never playing this move for obvious reasons, but I'm not playing it anyway, even without my stupid reasons. If I was black, I would probably play bishop f6 here, I'm guessing. And probably queen b6 would be my second choice, although after a5, I guess I'd resign. Okay, so he played f6, never play f6. And that's really ugly, the bishop on g7. So black basically can't do anything because black, who, if he puts a piece on e5, it can't be attacked by a pawn, but you can't put a piece on e5. So that's unfortunate. So this is why I think f5 is so strong, because when Nunn played knight to b4, obviously he can't play knight d7, e5, and this makes this move much stronger. Okay, so Nunn played for tricks. G takes f5, making the game more interesting. Bishop takes d6. And unfortunately, it's mainly just interesting for white because black's position is collapsing. Although I don't really envy black here. I think if black defended his d-pawn with queen e7 or queen c7, white would just play g4 and black just can't do anything. I mean, white has this really nice knight d2 to c4 ideas. He can attack on the king side. I don't see anything that black can do. Okay, so he made the game interesting, which made him lose quicker. Unfortunate. Bishop takes a4 is a very tricky move. Obviously, we're forking the c-pawn and the rook, so Nunn plays for tricks. He takes the pawn, unmasking on the bishop on d6. In this position, I want you to pause your video because this is a very instructive move, and I want you to try to find it. And probably black is okay if white doesn't play this move. And if you're my private student, which you're probably not, or you watch a lot of my videos, which you probably do, I think you can find this move. So pause your video and find the right move here for white. Okay, so again, I have a lot of rules, and I was watching the Junior Championship today on YouTube, and one of the guys that was in the chat said that I don't play chess anymore because every move that I make would break one of my rules. I can't break my rules, so I have to quit. So, well, this is actually one of my rules. One of the moves that I like for white, obviously I like bishop f1, which can't be played anymore unless you promote to a bishop, is knife to f5. And man, if white could cheat and play knight f5, I would certainly do it. And Kasparov did it without cheating. He played knight h4 with unstoppable knife f5, and the truth hurts. Oof, man, that's good square for the knight. And probably Nunn overlooked this idea when he played g takes f5 and bishop takes a4. Otherwise, maybe black is okay, maybe. He was probably assuming that white would get his pawn back, and whoops, or he would do something illegal. But then white can't really do anything. With the knight on f5, yeah, Kasparov liked his active pieces. Okay, now if I was black, I would move my pawn back from f6 to f7. Probably Kasparov would call the arbiter. Okay, he took on e4, knife f5, knight takes e4. Oof, material's equal. Actually, it's not equal. It's good that I can't count, otherwise I'd really be mad. So black's a pawn ahead, but these knights are really vicious. This bishop is terrible. The c5 pawn is hanging. Yeah, so it's a good position for black. Okay, and the d5 pawn is strong and passed. So basically, black can't do anything, and he does have an extra pawn, but it's just useless. Okay, he played king h8. He's probably worried about queen g4 coming, which has a lot of threats, such as knight h6 check, which wins the queen. And getting his king off of this diagonal and this file, and avoiding all of these potential moves that are check, makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, it doesn't have anything to do with defending the c-pawn. Although the computer already says white is like +5 here. So pretty bad position. I guess it's hard to defend the c-pawn because I could take it anyway. In fact, a sample variation that I see in my head right now, which may be totally insane, but that's okay, is let's look at this variation, just because I saw it now. Material's equal, and if you win your pawn back, I can take it. Hooray! And then I have knight check winning my queen, and white's up a rook. So, well, okay, king h8 avoids all of that nonsense. Okay, but unfortunately, after knight c5, we're threatening knight takes d7, we're threatening knight e6, we're threatening rook takes b4. My knight on f5 is 100 times better than your bishop, and material's equal. So this is the worst position ever. I think it's something like +9, even though material is equal. This is the way Kasparov used to give the smackdown to people. This was, you know, Kasparov, not even in his prime, this was before his prime. I think Kasparov was 17 years old this game, and he was pretty good at 17. But yeah, Kasparov was a real aggressive player. He calculated really well. He got his pieces to active squares. And John Nunn having a bishop like this on g7 that's can never move really shows the bad how bad f6 is, right? And Karen agrees. Okay. Yeah, she doesn't like f6. She ran away. Okay, so that's my Kasparov coming back into chess video. That was his game against Dr. Nunn. I think it was played in 1980, but you can correct me in the comments. And whew, that game made a lot of people shy away from the Benoni, and especially shy away from the variations where white plays f4. And if you never knew why these variations were being played anymore, usually it's because black is avoiding them. They don't. You can see from this game. Of course, if Kasparov was black in a Benoni and won, like he did against Korchnoi in the Olympiad, then maybe people would love the Benoni. So there you go. Okay, so once again, join our chess club, atlchessclub.com. New membership page is up. The more you pay, the more you learn. You can still donate. We're not going to stop you. And come to the grand opening. It's September 9th. It's in Roswell, Georgia, northern suburb of Atlanta. Remember, Saturday, September 9th. If you're German, it's 9/9. You can't forget. And it's less than 2 months away. So we have room for about 130 people. So you're all welcome. Bring your friends, bring your enemies, and bring your frenemies. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Follow me here on YouTube. And I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.